watching earnings together. So excited. So, welcome to everyone. Welcome to live earnings with Apple and Facebook today. And one of the things that I think is going to be really exciting is to see how these two companies who have been dueling it out in the media lately are going to appear in the earnings. So, super excited about this. And I think that I'm going to go with my common sense that both of them are going to beat on earnings, and my common sense has a bit of research behind it. So I'll explain. So the first thing that I would like to note is that I ordered a iPad for my sister, and that iPad took anywhere between forever to get. Like, I'm talking about waiting for a month. So I have a friend who ordered for my sister an iPad, and we waited for a month now for an iPad. And apparently, there is still a lot of people who are not getting Apple products in a, I would say, rational time from the minute they order to the minute it gets to them. So I think Apple is going to beat on earnings. I think they're going to show a lot of strength, especially with the new M1 laptops, especially with the iPads. And I think that the iPhone won't be such a huge, big success story like a lot of people are expecting, as much as I think it's going to be all about the other products. So if the stream is a bit slow, I apologize. I'm having a drop in frame rates here. Hopefully the audio is still okay. And there is at least some level of quality that you guys can still see and watch me. We are 13 minutes away. And one of the reasons I'm bullish on Facebook is because on Facebook, I'm pretty sure that there is going to be a beat due to the rise in e-commerce. So I'm pretty bullish on what's going to be happening on the e-commerce kind of aspect just because of the Shopify reports. So if I dive into the Shopify news, which was unbelievable. Let's see here. Shopify news. Okay. Yeah, so Shopify ended with net income of 1.25 billion. And I think that anybody who's ever owned a Shopify store knows that you can't bring in users without Facebook. So that's why I'm pretty bullish on Facebook, just because there are many Shopify stores that would probably love to get organic traffic and work really hard on SEO, but that doesn't happen in a second. So I think that just because Shopify was such a beat, Facebook is also going to be a huge beat. And I think that it's going to be a very interesting call, because they're going to call out Apple. I'm pretty sure of it. I don't see a scenario where they don't do that. I think they're going to call out Apple for the iOS 14 change. And I think that that would be kind of like a point in the news that's gonna, like, I probably hit the stock a bit. So I think that Facebook is gonna pop after the earnings come out. I think it's gonna be a beat, and then the call's gonna start, and they're gonna talk about how iOS 14 is filled with riddles, and I would say, kind of, they don't know yet what's going to be happening with it. and they're going to be very conservative. The word is conservative. Facebook is going to be conservative on the call. I'm willing to bet the house that they're going to be responsible and conservative and say that they don't know the full scope of how iOS 14 is going to affect. So back to Apple a bit. I think one of the more interesting things about the Apple story is that Apple is not a growth stock anymore, but the PE is 36, and that is a very high PE. Like, I feel the stock is fully priced. Now, I know that we're still far from the 52-week high, which was $145. But I think that PE of 36 is a high PE. Now, if you look at Facebook, by the way, as a comparison on the PEs, Facebook is under 31 PE, which makes it relatively cheap. And in terms of growth, I think Facebook is going to show 20% at least growth in compared to the last quarter. So that's what's going to kind of be, I think, the differences. I don't think Apple is going to show massive growth. I think they're going to show just enough, but Facebook is going to show massive growth. And I think that Facebook here is undervalued. Yeah, I've said it. Not far from the 52-week high, and I think they are undervalued. And if there is going to be any kind of interest rate hike down the line, then I'm pretty sure that Apple will probably deal with that better. Just because it will, any kind of interest rate hike will affect mostly Facebook businesses. So yeah, that's that on that end. Okay, we are 8 minutes away. 8 minutes away, and let's open CNBC and see who's talking. So we have Josh Brown here, and I don't see how Josh will give any kind of insight on Facebook. Josh said he's swearing off investing on Facebook. I think he's gonna talk about Apple. You know what? Maybe I should close this just to kind of maybe improve the stream level. Maybe we'll get a better quality stream by closing this. So Josh Brown there on CNBC. So let's see a bit of news on Facebook. I don't know if anybody followed Shopify. Did well. I spoke about that in the beginning, but Spotify, which only sounds like Shopify, did not do as well. Spotify got hit hard. Let's see. At 4 hours ago, there was some unusual options activity on Facebook, so that might be interesting. Sentiment was bullish. It looks like there were calls that were bought on May 7th for the $330 strike price. So we're 7 minutes away, 6 minutes away from actual earnings. And I said to myself I wouldn't sell a put, but I think I'm not strong enough. I think I'm going to eventually sell a put contract. And if I am going to sell another one, I'm going to be selling it on anything that's calculated as 10% under where we are now. So if we're at 308 and the stock would go down by 10%, we'd reach 277. So I'm going to be selling 2 put contracts for 530 on the 275. So getting that out of the way. Excellent. Let's see. Should I do one more? So that's July. That's too far out. So I'm going to go for June 4th or May 28th. May 28th, which is 30 days away, and I'm going to be selling just another 2 more contracts. Yep. Okay, I think we're good. We are 4 minutes away. Let's see if there's any more interesting news before. I wonder if Facebook is going to talk about their cryptocurrencies. That would be interesting. So what we're waiting for is basically for the 2 news tickers to get updated. So I'm going to open them here just so we have them. Okay, so this is the Facebook news ticker. I see it's not been updated for quite a while. And we're going to have the Apple one open here as well. So we have the Apple one and the Facebook one. We're just going to jump between them. Apple, Facebook. Okay. I think we're ready. 3 minutes to go. I'm excited. I have a lot of puts that I sold on Facebook, and I really believe that they're going to beat earnings. I've done videos in the past of selling puts before earnings that I haven't uploaded, and I feel a bit of a miss that I didn't upload them in the past. Let's see what happens. If there's any quality issues in the live stream, let me know. If you have, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Who is going to beat and who is going to disappoint? Let me know in the chat. I want to know what you guys think. I'm excited. I have a feeling that who else is going to be giving out earnings reports today? Let's see. Earnings today. Do you have any other interesting company besides Facebook and Apple, the 2 titans? Let's see who else we have here. So Qualcomm, they also on today, they're reporting, Boeing reported today. So we know Shopify. Okay, we got Sony. Sony is going to be an interesting report. I wonder what Sony is going to report. The CME. We know already Spotify's report. They missed. PSA, well, Public Storage, one of my favorite REITs, is reporting. So let's see where they're today. So PSA bid down. Who else is reporting? Anybody interesting? There's a lot of reports today. Another holding of mine, CINF, Cincinnati Financial, is reporting today. Tapestry. Okay. For anybody who knows Stuart Weitzman or Kate Spade, also reporting today. Okay, I think there's enough action for one day. For those of you who don't know, Amazon is reporting tomorrow. So that should be interesting. And we are 20 seconds away. This is exciting on so many levels. Okay. Marius said that Facebook is going to deliver hard. Bitcoin going up 1 minute before the report. Interesting. Is that true? Let's see. And the bell. I don't see Bitcoin going too much up before the report. I don't know what you're talking about, Marnix. Okay, let's open the ticker. Let's see what Facebook and Apple, which one is going to report first. I think Facebook always reports first. I don't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure Facebook always reports first. And we're just waiting for this to update. I am going to be very surprised if they don't beat. I think they're going to even beat by a good margin, which I think that's going to be one of the most interesting. Okay, so it's dipping a bit after the close. I don't know if you can see it. It's right on 307. Okay. I am in suspense. Aren't you guys in suspense? It's not every day that you get an earnings report after such a very very unique year. I think that's the word we're looking for. Unique. That's the sense I'm looking for. Unique year. Anybody else has any idea what's going to happen? We have here already 2 assessments from the audience. Let me know in the chat, people. Let me know in the chat. What do you think is going to happen? Is Facebook going to beat earnings? I have a lot of positions writing on this. If you guys want to just kind of see here, I'm closing the news ticker for a sec. There's a lot of puts that I've sold. A lot. And most of them are for the end of the year, but I got a lot riding on this. So I'm a big fan of Facebook stock, always been. I think that Facebook is a champion for a small and medium business. So if small and medium business don't have any other options right now, besides maybe Google, then there's no reason for the company not to keep growing and not to keep beating on earnings. And even with the whole iOS 14 issue that is currently kind of center in the news, I believe in Facebook engineers that they're gonna put this behind them. They're gonna be able to overcome whatever comes with iOS 14. So I'm seeing that Facebook is on the move a bit. It's $1 above the close. So it's starting to get interesting here. Starting to feel that there might be a pop. So we're at 309 almost. You know what? Let's check the graph. Let's put Facebook here. Okay, and let's zoom in. I have a feeling we're getting a pop. No news from Apple yet. I feel we're getting a pop. Come on, people. Give me... No, Michael Sobel. The report is not out yet, but it's soon. Just hang on with me. By the way, guys, if you like videos about finance, the stock market, investing, I recommend hitting subscribe. That's all the videos I do recently. And I try to bring value. I never will try to sell you a course. I'm not trying to monetize these videos. Okay, I'm seeing here some movement. Okay, 309.5. I think the report's out. I'm not seeing something update here in the news ticker, We should get like a huge update here. And wow, here we go. We're off. 318. 319. Wow. Okay, so I don't have the results yet, but this is looking good. This is exactly what I expected. A huge beat. Now I know what's gonna happen on the call. Like they're gonna throw at us cold water. They're gonna talk about iOS 14, but until that happens, we're in 324. Wow. For some reason, the news is not updating here. I'm going to check on a different window. Where is the actual report? This is a crazy jump all the way to 326. So for those of you who don't know how much percent this is after hours, I'm telling you right now, Facebook is up after hours 6%. Right now. And they might keep climbing higher. This can reach 10%. This can be an easy 10% pop. I'm so happy I sold those puts before. I felt it. I felt that there was no chance that Shopify would do so well and then you would have Facebook not doing well. It goes hand in hand. If you own a Shopify store and you want to bring traffic, how do you do that? You can use Google Ads. Their report was great. I did a video about that earlier in the day. But how much can you run through Google Ads with, just waiting for people to search for you? So here's the thing. Facebook and Google are very different in terms of Facebook is finding you as a consumer while Google is waiting for you to look for something, which is different. Okay, we have the numbers. Okay, let's go over it. Facebook first quarter active daily users, 1.88 billion. And monthly active users is 2.85 billion. Apple is still not out yet, Ricardo. Bear with us. Okay, so earnings per share for Facebook, 3.30. And the net was 9.5 and the revenue was $26 dollars per share. Let's see. Let's go over the report. Okay, we had a strong quarter as we helped people stay connected and businesses grow, said Mark Zuckerberg. We will continue to invest aggressively to deliver new and meaningful experiences for years to come, including in newer areas like augmented and virtual reality. Okay, guys, so for those of you who don't know, there's a rumor going around that 1 out of every 4 engineers now in Facebook is working on augmented reality. So if you're to believe that rumor, you know that Facebook is all in on augmented reality. Let's see what else do we have here. So looking kind of at the revenue year over year, this is a huge jump. Like, wow. We're talking here. Am I reading this right? Is this a 46% jump in advertising revenue year over year? Wow, 46%. So I think I'm reading this right. Let's see. We're pleased with the strength of our advertising revenue, which was driven by a 30% year over year increase in the average price per ad and a 12% increase in the number of ads delivered. Okay, so Facebook are delivering more ads and they're getting 30% more for each. This is an amazing business, people. Like, if they start breaking down the revenues from Instagram, if they start bringing that out separately, this is the same event that happened when Amazon started talking about how much money they've been making with AWS. So they're not even talking yet about Instagram separately in these reports. And interesting to see the headcount increasing. This company is amazing. I'm biased. I'm a fan. I own the stock. I sold puts. But just look at the numbers. How many companies do you have like this? We continue to expect a full year tax rate in the high teens. We expect capital expenditure to be in the range of 19 to 21, down from our prior estimate. Okay, so everything looks here bullish. I think we're gonna have to wait for the conference call. I think we're gonna have to wait for the conference call to actually hear what they're gonna talk about, and if there is any kind of unpleasant surprise. I'm going over the guidance. They kind of cut capex. So they're cutting costs. The revenue grew. I am really trying to find here something bad in the report, and I'm struggling. Looking kind of at the stock itself, it had the pop. It's around 223. I'm hoping the call throws some cold water. I really hope that the call throws some cold water. Just because I think that we all want an opportunity. And I think still, at this number, we're still undervalued. For those of you who are talking about Bitcoin, I'm seeing the movement now. I see the jump. Does anybody have an idea? Why is Bitcoin jumping? I'm asking you, why is Bitcoin jumping? If you have any idea, let me know. I'm not really aware of the connection between Facebook and Bitcoin. I know that Facebook has crypto activity waiting on the sidelines. Apple earnings are not out yet. I wonder when we're getting them. Usually it's supposed to come around in 3 minutes from now. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying this video until now and you're finding this useful, please hit that like button. Show some love for the algorithm so more people that are interested in content just like this can find this video. And if you have questions about Facebook, let me know. I'm active client, spend a lot on the platform, a huge investor in it, sold a lot of puts. And for those of you who really want to understand how bullish I was and how many puts I've sold, I'm going to put a link in the chat to an Instagram account, which is mine. And I literally post screenshots of every put contract I sell on the TD platform. So you can actually see my moves, and you can go through the images there, and you can see how many puts I sold on Facebook, which I was very bullish. So waiting on the Apple results, I think we kind of summed it up that until the call, the Facebook call isn't live, we don't know if there's any surprises waiting. But currently results on an objective, I think. Okay, wait. Let's stop. Hold the phone. It's speculation that Facebook is holding Bitcoin and will have to reveal it in the annual report. Interesting. Okay, guys, raise of hands. If you believe that Facebook has Bitcoin on their balance sheet, write in the chat BTC. If you don't think they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet, let's write USD for US dollar. Let's see who here believes that Facebook has Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Okay, I'm seeing some very bearish activity right now. The candlestick, it looks weird. You're about to see it yourself. I think that somebody either took profits and Apple's coming out. Is it out yet? I'm not sure. I don't see any kind of. Let's move to Apple. Let's see if I think we catch the gist with Facebook. What's happening with Apple? Is Apple out yet? I'm not seeing any Apple report yet. So most people here think that it's no, you're kind of in the middle. Some of you think that Facebook has Bitcoin, and some of you think that it's fake news. Okay, Apple's on the move here, I think. I'm seeing it trying to break out. Is this the move we're looking for? That Apple beat on earnings as well? This is I feel like I'm watching a very intense sports match. Apple, okay. Let's ask you guys. Apple beats or doesn't beat? Does Apple beat? Let me know in the chat. Come on, people. Let me know in the chat. Does Apple beat? Is Apple gonna beat earnings? It looks like that's the direction. I want to know what you guys think. We talked about Facebook enough. Let me know if you think that Apple is going to beat. And while we're waiting for the Apple results to come out, guys, if you want to see more content on investing and the stock market, and you want to understand all kinds of new concepts, and you want to see my moves, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I do not sell courses. I don't run ads. I will never. This is not my day job. This is my passion, and I enjoy this, and I enjoy engaging with you. So I'd love to continue to engage with you on the day-to-day videos that I publish. And two people say beat on Apple. So currently, more people think that Apple's going to beat. I think that Apple's going to beat, and they're going to beat without iPhones, which is they're going to beat without crazy iPhone sales, which is going to be the more kind of interesting story, that Apple is more than just an iPhone company. I think people bought hand over fist the watches. I think people bought hand over fist iPads. I think the M1 laptop is a huge catalyst for this company. I really think that all these things are going to change the way people see Apple. Apple is now manufacturing chips. People said for years that Apple's never going to move from Intel, and Apple's not innovating, and Apple's not doing anything new. Well, guess what? Apple is doing a lot of new things. And they might not be building a car, but it's these small things that make this ecosystem amazing. I am talking to you using one of the most high-end Macs. I have a 16-inch Mac, and I'm waiting for the M2 to come out because I actually believe that they are going to be able to build a powerhouse of a product for users that are going to need that horsepower for the years to come. Because let's face it, I do video editing, for example. There's a lot of things that we want to do from without buying a huge computer. Okay, Ricardo, BTC. What's happening, Ricardo? Now I have to look at Bitcoin every second because of you guys. You guys are making me go completely FOMO. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I think it's. I think even, you know what? Even if Facebook has Bitcoin on its balance sheet, at this point, who cares? Seriously, I'm saying this in a very bullish Bitcoin aspect. Like I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin, but who cares? Like, I think that there are going to be some, I would say, less innovative companies that I'm waiting for them to actually hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet. When I see companies that don't have excess cash, put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, that would be interesting. So I guess a lot of people here came in for Facebook to say if Facebook is going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and currently, that's not happening. So Apple, Facebook, two companies that are currently at odds with each other. I can say with confidence with the iOS 14 update. So it's kind of fun that they're both doing today earnings. I feel that Apple earnings came out somewhere and somebody knows something, because this is, in at least in my opinion, some bullish after hour movement. So let's see. People are talking about a Bitcoin crash happening right now. Wow. Indeed. Yep, that Bitcoin pop all the way to 56. So somebody here in the chat said, somebody here said that buy the rumor, sell the news, and he was right. Forgot who it was here. Yeah, I think it was Toronto Bitcoin. It's a fake out. Well, Toronto Bitcoin, you earned today a medal for, I guess, calling it. You called it Toronto Bitcoin. Kudos to you. Let's see. Apple is, I think, at worst 8 minutes away from revealing. I think that I think that the report is 8 minutes away tops. So bear with me, guys. Let's see what Apple has in store for us. Let's see. So Shannon Sako, from Boston Private Wealth. Okay, so the chief investment officer at Boston Private Wealth said that she is going to hold Facebook for several more quarters. I agree with you. I think this is a story that's going to continue developing. Jumping really quick back to Facebook, in case of you guys don't know, Facebook has not been yet put in the position that they've been demanded to break down that Instagram revenue. And that, as long as that doesn't happen, I'm telling you, Facebook has more upside. And I think that if we put our, I would say, personal opinions on the side, it's a great stock and it's a great company. So for those of you who are joining now, Facebook beats on earnings, great results. I think the phone call is going to throw some cold water. I think that Facebook has a lot of headwinds coming towards it. And still, I believe in the Facebook engineers that they are going to overcome everything. So Apple earnings very soon. And for those of you who have not followed the news, Apple and Facebook are at odds with the iOS 14 update, which I know some friends who own e-commerce stores that had some adapting to do in the past 48 hours. So it's not easy to run a business and depend so much on Facebook and then just lose all that targeting power. It's, I guess, the nightmare of every small, medium business to lose that targeting power. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying your time with me until now, if you are excited about Apple's earnings, if you think Apple is going to beat the earnings report, hit that like button. Show the algorithm some love so more Apple lovers can join us in this live stream together. Come on. Let's see some like love. We're getting more and more viewers, I think, as we close in and zero in on the Apple earnings. If anybody has not placed their bets yet, if Apple's going to beat or not beat, now's the time in the chat. If you think Apple's going to beat, right? Beat. I told you already my opinion. I think Apple is going to beat. And I think Apple is going to beat because I can't get any Apple product ordered without waiting for it for weeks to get here, to get to me. I ordered an iPad for my sister. I said that in the beginning of the live stream. And let me tell you something. Waiting a month for an iPad is not okay. Especially when the store that sells it to you says, yeah, it's going to be here next week. There are supply chain disruptions that are causing a imbalance between demand and supply. And when that happens, Apple doesn't have to cut costs. They don't have to, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Apple does not have to cut prices. Apple can continue to sell their products at high margins. And those high margins are going to lead them to beat. I think we're 4 minutes away. I think we're 4 minutes away from seeing Apple beat. So Eyal here thinks that Apple's going to beat, and Dr. MSI thinks that Apple's going to beat. Anybody here that think that Apple is going to flop? I think you have to be very, very, I would say, I think you have to be very contrarian. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to be very contrarian to think that Apple is going to drop. I think that Apple stock might stay at the same volume, even if there's a beat. I don't know if Apple is fully priced in. I'm jumping really quick to just kind of show you. The price to earnings of Apple is it's not cheap. 36 is not cheap. The yield is 0.6%. Nobody's buying Apple stock for the dividend. And people are not jumping at Apple stock because of that PE. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get a beat? Is the beat going to change the PE? Can Apple grow into that PE? Are we looking at some kind of crazy maybe beat that nobody's expecting? By the way, how many people here in the chat own Apple products? And which ones do you own? I admit I own an iPad, I own a Mac, and I do not own the iPhone for work reasons. And okay, I think I don't own the watch. So yeah, so I like Apple and I don't own the phone and I don't own the watch. I think that's okay. I'm just seeing this after hours activity and I can't help but feel that somebody knows that Apple beated. Okay, so Bloody Clashers thinks it's gonna fail, but it will beat. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what happens here. I've not been so excited for earnings in such a long time, and I think it's especially because last year at Q1, we all knew that earnings would be funky. And here, everybody's like, okay, we think we have an estimate of what's going to happen. And here we are with Facebook stock crushing it. And you have yesterday Google stock crushing it. You have Shopify growing to be a monster of a company. Like the price stock was on par for the last couple of months of almost a year. There were people who understood very well that Shopify is a viable candidate to Amazon as a platform to help sellers sell their products. But Shopify cannot live in a bubble, and that meets Facebook. And that's why I kind of knew that Facebook would beat on earnings, and that's why I sold puts on this live stream just a few minutes before the bell rang. So we're waiting for Apple, and I want to believe that we're seconds away from the report. And if we're not, I'm going to be very disappointed. Come on. I see here some more movement, more activity. It feels like somebody knows something. And it's a pop. Wow. Okay. Is the pop continuing? I see 138. Are we growing into this? There's a chance Apple stock is reaching 145. I think we're breaking the 52-week high. I don't have yet here an update, but I feel that this was a beat. 139 as the high. Come on, people. Place your bets. Place your bets. Where's Facebook and Apple ending today? I think Facebook ends the day after the call on $315, which was the 52-week high before the ending bell, before the closing bell. I think Apple ends the day on 150. I think Apple ends the day over 150. I think they beat their 52-week high. I don't think Apple has anything but good news to talk about. I don't think Apple has enough headwinds. They're going to have to really... Oh my God. $90 billion repurchase program. Apple authorized an increase of $90 billion in the repurchase program for the stock. Wow. Wow. Okay. Raising the quarterly dividend. Wow. This is very bullish. I don't know why the stock is not ripping higher. A $90 billion increase in a stock repurchase program is monstrous. Like, there are companies that don't have a $90 billion market cap. There are companies who are not worth $90 billion, but Apple is going to spend $90 billion of buying their own stock. Okay. If you think that spending $90 billion on just buying your own stock is not the best use of money, let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. If you're liking this video so far, if you like my commentary, if you are a fan of Apple, if you're a fan of Facebook, if you have even $1 invested in the stock market, hit that like button so more people can join us in this conversation, because I think the earnings calls are going to be super interesting, super... I think they're going to be super complex for Facebook with the iOS update, and I think they're going to be super bullish for Apple with everything that's happening on their front with the M1 chip and the future M2 chip. So show some love for the algorithm. Hit that like button. And guys, if it's our first time meeting each other, hit that subscribe button. I don't want this to be the only time that we meet like this. I want us to meet more often. I want us to be on the earnings call tomorrow, where I'm going to try to bring some very interesting information about Amazon before the call, about startups that I work with, and how much their Amazon AWS bill has grown. So if you're interested in knowing how much of the startups that I'm invested in as an angel investor have had increases in their AWS bill, hit that like button and hit subscribe. I want to talk to you tomorrow again. I want to be with you on the call, and I want us to continue watching earnings together because it's fun. Ah, wow. $90 billion buyback. I can't wrap my head around this. I'm sorry. This is the kind of news that makes you think they could have bought a company with that. $90 billion is a lot of money. For those of you asking if Apple's a buy, guys, I'm not a financial investor. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you a yes or no answer for that. If you like the company and you like what it stands for, and you want to be part of the story as an investor, maybe you should buy. Maybe. If it's money that you can afford to lose, for sure buy. Look, it's a pricey stock at a high price earnings ratio. I don't think Apple is a cheap stock. Does it mean you shouldn't buy? No, I'm neither here or there. I own Apple stock. Will I be buying after the report today? I'm not sure. I think I might be adding to Facebook more. That's for sure. I don't know if I'm adding to Apple. I might sell puts on Apple if there's any kind of pullback. Again, the price to earnings ratio on Apple is high for a company which is not considered a growth stock. Like, you kind of want to ask yourself, what's all this premium about? Okay, so thinking about like what can be on the Apple call, I think Apple's going to reiterate how much they're a health company. I think that they're going to talk about all kinds of applications for the watch that are coming down the pipe, especially now when somebody's asking me why Facebook and not Apple. Wait, so I want to address that to Luke QIN in the chat. So why Facebook and not Apple? I think Facebook is a company that's mispriced. Okay, and I started a series about mispriced companies, and you can check my YouTube channel. I did it on Palantir a couple of days ago. I think Facebook stock is mispriced because people don't see separately Instagram. And if Instagram, in my opinion, was now a separate company, was a separate entity, they alone would be worth $1 billion. In terms of the sales they generate, the brand affinity, everything. So if you take Facebook, and you take WhatsApp, and you take Instagram, if you take all of those together, that is a company that's worth well above $1 trillion. So I think if Instagram is worth $1 trillion, if I said billion, I meant trillion, by the way. So if Instagram is worth $1 trillion, Facebook is certainly not worth zero. So if this logic makes any sense to you guys, if you guys also think that Instagram could have been a $1 trillion standalone company, let me know in the chat if you agree with me or not. If you don't agree with me, let me know too. Okay, so we have Apple revenue by products. iPhone revenue, $48 billion. Wow. Services, $17 billion. Mac revenue, $9 billion. Let's see what else. Okay. So they posted here that they have paid subs 660 million, up from 620 million. This is important, people. Subscribers is monthly reoccurring revenue. And monthly reoccurring revenue for Apple brings them the higher PE. So if you guys are asking, wait, why are people willing to buy Apple at a higher PE than Facebook? Monthly reoccurring revenue is one of the answers, and Facebook has a huge services business. And that huge services business is currently generating $17 billion. Okay. So I think the outlook for Apple is good. I think the stock buyback is amazing. Again, for those of you who are just joining, the company issued an increase of $90 billion in a stock buyback. That is an increase to existing approved numbers. They're using the money to buy back the stock instead of R&D, instead of buying companies. On a day like this, I feel Apple should have made some acquisitions. I feel that this is the kind of day that Apple should have announced that they're initiating a project to buy companies. And I know that Apple buys companies. It's not that they don't. I know they do. But they buy small companies. They do a lot of deals that they're not like life-changing deals for Apple. And I feel Apple has to use that money not on a stock buyback. Like, I understand creating scarcity for the stock will eventually generate a situation that the stock price goes up. Yes, they're doing what's best for the shareholders on a very technical level. But I'm asking seriously, wouldn't you prefer to see Apple do some like really interesting, cool deals and buy some company? Like, wouldn't you want to see Apple buy a Peloton? I feel like maybe a Peloton competitor Let me know in the comment section. You agree? If you don't agree, I really want to know in the chat what you guys think. If $90 billion buyback was the right idea or not. Okay, so I'm waiting for more news to come out on Facebook and Apple from the earnings calls themselves. Currently, let's see, when is the Apple earning call scheduled? So the Apple earnings call is scheduled for okay, 2 p.m. Pacific time. 5 p.m. Okay, so we're 20 minutes away from the Apple's earnings call. We're gonna stick through this, guys. Okay, so Apple earning call inbound. Facebook earnings call, which is gonna be very interesting. That starts at same time. They're both going to be 5 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so we're going to stick together for the earnings calls. Facebook earning call, Apple earning call. We're going to stick together to hear what these earning calls are going to be all about. What does Facebook have to say on their earnings call? What does Apple have to say on their earnings call? And I promising to whoever is subscribing and hitting that bell notification, you're going to get a notification tomorrow for a stream. And we're going to watch the Amazon earnings, which I think have huge implications for the whole market. I don't see a scenario where Amazon earnings do not affect market sentiment. Amazon is a gauge. It's a gauge of what's happening in the whole economy. You can't think about consumption and inflation and start calculating these things without understanding what Amazon earnings is going to be like. Okay, so back to today. We are 18 minutes away from the beginning of the earnings calls for Facebook and Apple. Let's go again over the Apple numbers. So wearables, home and accessory, almost $8 billion. Services, 17. iPhone revenue, 48. iPad revenue, almost 8 billion. Mac revenue around 9. Amazing numbers, just gorgeous numbers. Okay. Quarterly dividend increased. They are increasing it to 22 cents versus what it used to be, 20.5 cents. Now, if we're going to look at percentages, how much the quarterly dividend increased. 7% increase. So Apple had a 7% increase in the dividend. So that is nice. For whoever is looking to gather that yield on Apple and looking to make that dividend and to do the dividend reinvesting and to see the Apple stock compound, a good choice, by Apple to kind of increase the dividend. I think that's a good way to bring back value to shareholders. Facebook staying strong around 324. I don't see this moving from here. Like I said, I think so many people were afraid that Apple's iOS 14 update would demolish Facebook's ability to target people properly. And you know what? It might cause some issues in the short term, but Facebook is a monster of a company. Let's see. So we have the earnings calls going up in 15 minutes, and I want to go over some other stocks that we said that had earnings today. So remember, this video is all about Apple and Facebook earnings call, but I just want to jump between some of the names that reported today. So also, if you guys just joined, Amazon is reporting tomorrow. So Qualcomm, a company that actually has a lot of relations with Apple. So Qualcomm, profit surge. Qualcomm apparently Sales in the March quarter rose higher than expected, 52%. So Qualcomm is 5% popping after the bell. Yeah. Okay. So Qualcomm is looking well, and if you're not aware, there's a chip shortage. That chip shortage is mostly in the U.S. That chip shortage is mostly affecting the Western world. But there's a chip shortage, and when the demand is higher than the supply, that's what you get, people. Okay, let's do another round of what do you guys think is going to happen after the earnings calls? Is Tim Cook going to say something that's going to spook Apple investors? Or is he going to say something that's going to cause a bullish run up? Is Mark Zuckerberg going to say something that's going to spook Facebook investors? Or is he going to give some insight into the virtual reality and augmented reality projects? The way I see it, Facebook and Apple are going to both probably race towards augmented reality technology. And they're going to compete there whether they like it or not. They're going to compete there with Microsoft, which had amazing earnings. They're going to compete there with Google. Augmented reality is not going away. I think there's a lot of applications you can use it. I think there is going to be a whole ecosystem around it. And we're in such an early stage. I see the startups now that are playing around with augmented reality for the past couple of years, such an early stage. So let's recap a bit what we had until now. Again, Facebook popped on earnings. It made sense because Shopify popped on earnings. Why? Shopify stores cannot reach consumers without Facebook. So if Shopify stores were popular, it's because the people who opened those Shopify stores probably kept buying ads on Facebook and brought users into those Shopify stores. That's Facebook. Apple, I just knew through the supply chain. Ordering for myself equipment, ordering for my sister an iPad. The waiting times did not make sense. We're a year after the beginning of what was one of the most strangest times of our lives all around the world. And still we're waiting for Apple products for weeks and months to arrive, and you can't get a delivery in a normal kind of time frame. So that made sense that it would beat on earnings as well. And Qualcomm that we just went over makes total sense that they beat on earnings because there's a chip shortage, so you have more demand than supply. So everything kind of makes sense. The only thing that did not make sense for me actually was how negative investors were on Spotify earnings. If you guys didn't see Spotify, I'll show you really quick. Spotify did not have a good day today. And that's an understatement. Like Spotify had the earnings, had the drop. And I think that Apple is a much more, I would say, stronger company when it comes to, I guess, the music part. And I don't think it gets enough credit. Like a lot of people were born into Spotify and they forget that Apple Music has an amazing service. Apple Music has been around for enough time to be considered one of the best products around in its category, and probably will continue to be. And all is left to innovate. It's such a good product. Okay, we are 10 minutes away, and I'm going to be excited the minute somebody says augmented reality on one of those calls. So let's do a quick vote. Who here wants me to put the audio of the Facebook call? And who here wants me to put the audio of the Apple call? And I'm going to try to jump between them as much as possible according to who's talking and what they're talking about. But if you have to choose for me which audio to have on, which audio would you choose? Would you rather have me be on the Facebook call, or would you much rather have me be on the Apple call? Let me know. I want to know. Um, I think that they're both going to be very interesting calls. I want guidance for the rest of the year from these companies, and I think I'm asking for a lot here, just because we don't know if there's going to be another strain of I'm not sure that this. Okay, we have here some. I'm gonna cut my own line of thought. Facebook, Bogdan wants me to be on the Facebook call. Dr. MSI wants me to be on the Apple audio call. Guys, I need some votes here. Which call am I getting on? Am I getting on the Facebook earnings call or am I getting on the Apple earnings call? Where am I starting? Come on, people. I need your help to make this decision. We're in this together. The whole idea of us being here together on the stream is that you guys call the shots, or at least most of them. Am I getting on the Facebook call or am I getting on the Apple call? And guys, if you are new to me, my channel, and you want to be a part of this journey of just publishing amazing content around stocks, around investing, around startups, around crypto, hit that subscribe button. I promise you only high quality content. If you just jump to the channel and you see the videos I publish, there are no ads. There are no courses. There is nothing besides me and giving you guys value. That's all I'm looking to do. This is not my day job. I'm not looking to monetize at any point. I just really enjoy doing this. I'm super passionate. And I see a lot of people wanting to hear the Facebook audio call because of the Bitcoin. And I see some people who want to hear the Apple call. So I guess the Bitcoin is a big deal. If Facebook is going to talk about it, not talk about it. So I understand why you guys want me to get on the Facebook call first. Come on, guys. Let me know which call do you want me to go on. Alexander also wants to see Bitcoin Facebook. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm hearing you. Anybody else doesn't agree with them? Let me know. Currently, it seems we're getting on that Facebook call. If I see that Bitcoin, by the way, the drop kind of stopped. So hopefully it stays there as I am invested in Bitcoin. Anybody here else thinks that we should get on the Facebook call? Let's make it official. Come on, guys. Let's see some last votes. I see Bogdan and Wanter and Toronto Bitcoin and Alexander Dagdik all wanting to go on the Facebook call. Anybody else want me to go on the Facebook earnings call? Okay, I think if there's no other comments, I think it's settled. We're gonna go on the Facebook earnings call. I'm going to have it ready. Dr. MSI, we are gonna have the Apple. We're gonna jump between the calls. I'm just asking where we're gonna start. I want to know with what call to open. Just so you guys know, and while we're listening, we're gonna have both news tickers open. So if we're on the Facebook call, we're gonna have the Apple one news ticker open, and if we're on the Apple call, we're gonna have the Facebook ticker open. We're just gonna be on audio in one and wait for text in the other. So obviously this is gonna get updated a bit later, but we're all gonna watch this live and hopefully we're not gonna miss a thing. Okay, so I'm going to Facebook earnings call. Investor events. And I'm hitting listen to webcast. Anybody has any bets on if they have Bitcoin or not? Like everybody here is like super interested to hear if Facebook bought Bitcoin or not. What are your bets? If you think Facebook bought Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheet, if you think that Facebook invested in cryptocurrencies, if you think Facebook is bullish on Bitcoin, Hit that like button. Let's see the likes jump. Come on. Let's see how many people here really believe that Facebook invested in Bitcoin. Okay. Hit play on the earnings call. Got that music running in the background. And wouldn't it be crazy amazing if Facebook actually said that they had a different cryptocurrency on their balance sheet, which is not Bitcoin? And just like it's a thought, I don't think that CFOs would rush to do that. But let's say that they did. That'd be amazing. Dr. MSI says that they definitely have invested in Bitcoin. Okay, we're about to find out, people. We are about to find out. So I'm on the Facebook call. The audio is open. I don't know if you can hear the music or not. I'm going to just put it a bit louder just so you can hear. It makes me laugh. Like these companies in the end of the day are so legacy. Instead of having like some kind of like killer music, like to have some kind of, I don't know, upbeat, I don't know, like what the top hit right now. Have some, I don't know, put some David Guetta or Kygo. They put these tunes that belong to a 90s. Can you hold on the line, please? Anyway, we are minutes away from Facebook and Apple's earnings call. And this is going to be very exciting when it comes to augmented reality. And it's going to be very exciting when it comes to what these companies are going to do with all the money. Like, okay, Apple approved a purchase buyback. Are they going to do something else? I wonder if Facebook is going to talk about doing more buybacks on their call. Like, I know we're all waiting to hear about Bitcoin. I think I'm going to cast my vote in. I think that Facebook has not bought Bitcoin yet, but they're going to announce that they're going to be indulging in cryptocurrencies. I think that they want to put it out as a statement and they want to test the waters. I don't think that they're going to surprise the market with, oh, we own Bitcoin. I have a feeling that that would be a move that would put a target on their back. It would just cause Washington bureaucrats to feel uncomfortable in their chairs and to feel that they're not doing enough about regulating Facebook. I think that's what's going to happen. So guys, quick reminder, if you like content about the stock market, if you like any kind of video that provides you value about the stocks you love, about stocks you're interested, if you like cryptocurrency, my channel is all about creating value and to just do cool videos. And I do not advertise, I do not monetize the videos, I do not sell courses. I'm all about the passion and me as an investor. And if you just joined, you can check in the chat. I left a link in the beginning to an Instagram account where I post many of my trades. And if you go to the beginning of the stream, you can see that I also sold puts live on the live stream on Facebook, which is a bullish move. If you never sold puts, it's basically selling an insurance company. You're selling an insurance policy as an insurance company. So yeah, we are a minute away. I'm gonna increase the volume. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear, but I'm gonna decrease from time to time. I'm kind of looking over the presentation. You can't see it in your screen right now. I think it's very impressive to see how much revenue Facebook generated from countries that are not the US in the first quarter. I think their business in Asia Pacific did amazing well. They did more in Q1 in Asia Pacific than they did in Q4 2020. That's crazy. And I'm wondering, I'm really wondering if the expenses will keep going down. The operating margin was 43%. That's insane numbers. I was just talking today. There was a video I published today about Google. You can see it in the channel. And in that video, I was talking about the insane margins of Google. And apparently, Facebook has their own insane metrics of operating margin. So let's see what happens on the call. Are we gonna get that Bitcoin? Are we gonna get that cryptocurrency? Guys, once again, if you are new here, if it's the first time we're meeting, two things. One, if you're enjoying this so far, if you're finding value, if we're all on the edge of our seat together, and you haven't hit that like button yet, hit that like button. The second thing, hit subscribe. Okay, I think the earnings call started.
Good afternoon. My name is France, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to Facebook First Quarter 2021 Earnings Conference Call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like
Okay, we just have the operator
please press
updating us on the rules of engagement
phone keypad.
on the earnings call.
This call will be recorded. Thank you very much. Ms. Deborah Crawford, Facebook's Vice President of Investor Relations, you may begin.
Okay, we're off to the races.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Facebook's first quarter earnings conference call. Joining me today to discuss the results are Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, Sheryl Sandberg, COO,
So Zuckerberg,
CFO.
Sheryl Sandberg,
I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that
and the CFO are on the call.
forward-looking statements. Actual results may differ materially from those contemplated by these forward-looking statements. Factors that could cause these results to
Okay.
differ materially are set forth in today's
What do you guys think?
and in
Are we getting that Bitcoin?
Form 10-K filed with the SEC. Any forward-looking statements that we make on this call are based on assumptions as of today, and we undertake no obligation to update these statements as a result of new information or future events. During this call, we may present both GAAP and non-GAAP financial measures.
Okay, we're still hearing all the rules of engagement for the earnings call. Still not hearing yet. Does Facebook have Bitcoin or not? Nothing like that. Mark hasn't started to talk yet.
Turn the call over to Mark.
Okay, the call's been turned to Mark. Let's hear what he has to
Hey
say.
everyone, thanks for joining us today. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to say that we are very worried about the COVID situation in India and also in Brazil.
Okay, so Mark is talking about the situation in Brazil and India health-wise, and he just started right out of the gate talking about India and Brazil.
This was another strong quarter. More than 2.7 billion people now use one or more of our apps each day.
So he's talking about how 2.7 billion people use the apps, either WhatsApp, Instagram, or Facebook, on any given day.
And I am proud that we continue to deliver value for people and businesses around the world. Now, over the past couple of quarters, our business has been performing better than we expected.
Okay, so Mark is talking about how the business has been performing better than they expected.
In a few key areas that have the potential to change the trajectory of the company over the long term. So on today's call, I'm going to talk about the opportunities that we're pursuing in augmented and virtual reality.
Okay, Mark is going to talk about augmented and virtual reality. He's confirmed that he's going to talk about it on the call.
Let's talk about building the next computing platform.
Okay, he's talking about building the next computing platform. Interesting.
Are going to enable a deeper sense of presence and social connection than any existing platform. And they're going to be an important part of how we will interact with computers in the future. So we're going to keep investing heavily in building out the best experiences here, and this accounts for a major part of our overall R&D budget growth.
Guys, I'm listening
It's
carefully,
better than we expected, even after the holiday season.
and it seems that
We
Mark is
see
going to
real
talk
change,
about
and we keep
things
making
that are
updates
not just
along the
related to
way
the
to drive
advertising
things better
space.
and better, including
AR, VR,
wireless streaming of games and content from
wireless
PCs,
streaming of games.
and support for 120 hertz refresh rates. Now, achieving Quest's high quality in a wireless form factor has been a major
Anybody here in the chat have an
having
Oculus
wires
rig?
wrapped around you just
Just out of
makes
curiosity, want to know.
seamless an immersion. And the technology to deliver a great experience wirelessly is very advanced, and most companies aren't going to be able to deliver this. But we believe that it is the minimum bar for a high quality
I
experience.
I think that Mark is kind of referring
You'll hear
to
more about our
the
future
importance of a high
interfaces for
quality
interacting
experience
with
and the
AR,
need for
large
good
screen
hardware in order to deliver
a
that,
key part of how
especially on
people express
wireless.
themselves and connect. One interesting trend is that we're seeing the app ecosystem broaden out beyond games into other categories of
Okay, so
work.
he's talking about how the
Most
app
of these apps are
ecosystem
real,
for virtual reality and augmented reality
platform in the past.
is branching
We're
out
also
beyond
live
games.
streaming and even fitness apps. So, for example, we launched a tool so people can subscribe to services like FitXR
So he's
to get
talking about
optimal
subscribing
fitness
to
and
fitness
VR
services. People,
exercise
this is
sessions
very
for biking on the go.
interesting.
We introduced App Lab so developers can ship early versions of their apps directly to consumers without having to go through the Oculus Store. And between App Lab and streaming from PCs, we're pioneering a much more open model of App Store than what's
So
currently
he's
available
talking about
today.
the
Now,
current
over
app
time,
store that they have.
I expect augmented and virtual reality to unlock a massive amount of value, both in
And he's
people's
really
lives
expecting
and in
augmented
business.
virtual reality
We're
to
still
unlock massive
relatively
amount of
early,
value.
and most of our investments to make this work are ahead of us. But I think that the
Guys, if you're
feedback
bullish
from
for augmented reality, virtual reality for the future, if you think there's the actual business there,
here will
and you
happen.
haven't hit that like button yet, hit that like button to show me that you're actually bullish on
Beyond AR
on
and
that
VR,
space, on the
I'll
industry.
call out some of the other long-term opportunities that we're really focused on, especially in commerce and business messaging. Commerce has been growing in our services for a while, but it has become a lot more important as the pandemic has accelerated a broader shift
Okay,
in
so now he's moved to talk about commerce.
in the last year.
I was already excited. He was talking about the app ecosystem,
Physical stores closed, and
and
going
I think
forward,
there's a huge opportunity there, even for business to business,
personalized
to create all kinds of training, employee training programs, and things like that.
and drive a meaningful amount of our overall business. We built Marketplace into one of the world's leading services.
Okay, so he's talking about Marketplace. Now, Marketplace is a segment in Facebook where people can sell stuff.
People visit Marketplace each month.
And
And now we're investing.
there are days that Marketplace is
We launched Shop.
overshadowing the size of eBay.
There are now more than 1 million monthly active shops and over 250 million monthly shops.
And he's talking about he's talking about 1 million active shops in Marketplace, which is interesting.
We recently updated WhatsApp catalog so businesses can keep them updated from their
So there is a WhatsApp catalog as well that he's talking about, which is
parts on WhatsApp
a way for
here and
businesses to sell as well.
more than 5 million times.
Guys, I don't hear anything about Bitcoin yet, but
To support commerce,
okay, here's my theory. Mark is gonna stop talking.
service and support.
At one point, the CFO is gonna have to start talking.
And we have gotten
And if I'm betting anything about Bitcoin comes up, it's gonna come up through the CFO. It's not gonna come up through Mark.
to communicate with business
I don't see him taking the lead if there's any kind of cryptocurrency investment.
shops and more of that messaging.
So if there's going to be any news here about cryptocurrency, any news about Libra,
Show their
I think it's not going to come from Mark. And I think that's a marketing PR strategy.
infrastructure to communicate with their customers.
And that's why it's not going to come from Mark.
Businesses using WhatsApp business
If you
already sending
are still bullish that Facebook is going to talk about cryptocurrency,
over the last
let me know in the comment section that you're still a believer.
daily conversation
Currently,
people in business
does not seem like Mark is going to
by
talk about any kind of crypto.
more than 3 million advertisers are already using click to message ads
He's talking about features, click to message ads, all kinds of things that
nearly 1 million
are
active
not
users
crypto
have
people.
already started using them too. And
There
now
is
in recent
currently
years, we've been
no
able to create those quick WhatsApp ads
there is currently
from
no
very
mention of
inexpensive.
cryptocurrency by Mark.
The next step is to make it easier for businesses to adopt all these services and to build
Let's
the tools
let's make a
that can handle messages and
let's make
emails
here already kind of an
from
assessment
different
that
customers.
if it was not
Going
important
forward,
enough for Mark to talk about it in the first 10
is
minutes,
a native way to manage their customer
then it's not a
relationships on their
Mark
platform.
kind of
Now, it's
headline
clear that
news.
we have a long way to go to build out a full-featured commerce platform across our
He's
services.
talking about full featured commerce
There's no question.
platform and the
I'm
long way to
very committed to
go.
getting there. This modern
I
platform
like what I'm hearing. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love that he's talking, focusing on the business, but I'm sorry.
join offerings like ads, community
Sorry
feeds,
about that. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
with areas like shops and business messaging
He's
included,
just talking about
with areas
shops
focused on
and
text and
businesses.
chat. As part of this,
Okay, I'm moving to the
we've
Apple call,
introduced
guys. It seems that
support for our products.
there's not
Over the last
much
several years, we focused a lot on
happening with
privacy,
Mark. Maybe when we hear from the CFO.
as the next pillar of the trust and safety work for
Let's see.
the last area that I want to
I'm
discuss
reading
is
a
security.
I'm reading here really quick a statement from Tim Cook before we move.
I think that a positive vision for the future of the economy is one where more people get to do creative work that they enjoy
Um,
rather than jobs that
I'm
pay
about
well.
to move to the Apple
To
call,
get
but
there, we need to build out the creative
Mark
economy.
is talking about creative innovation. Maybe he's moving
We create an
towards.
incredibly diverse set of content across our services, from long form writing to live conversations to documentaries and augmented reality
He's
films.
talking about
And
content.
our goal is to support the full range of human expression and to be the best platform for millions of creators to make a living. Now, part of this is going to be delivering a suite of tools and products that span all of the
Okay,
dimensions
I'm
of
listening carefully. I feel he's shifting a
the
tone.
recognition
Before moving to Apple, I'm
of
giving Mark one last
the
chance to
ideal
maybe
audience side, there is a compelling experience to build. For example, I mentioned
maybe talk about
our audio roadmap.
cryptocurrencies.
We already support audio calls for private audio communication, but now we're also building out live audio rooms, which will be
He's building up to live audio rooms and conference calls.
sites for sharing
He's moving away from
audio clips broadly
some
and
of the
sharing
topics from the
platforms
beginning. He's
to
talking
share
about more
music and
B2B
video files.
applications right now.
And we're also partnering with Spotify to launch a music player
Talking about a partnership with Spotify.
So we also need to connect these experiences with easy options for monetization, whether that's subscriptions, tipping, or enabling
So he's talking about how Facebook is going to allow subscriptions, tipping. Okay, guys, this is very interesting. Like,
a unique
forget
ability
Bitcoin for a
to bring
second.
creators and commerce together.
If Facebook starts making money from commissions of financial
The other key
transactions,
around creators,
that's a good place to be when you're an advertising company trying to
are the areas
expand.
that we are doubling down on going forward. And in each of these, there is a unique opportunity to help people connect and deepen
I see the stock
relationships
starting to break down just a bit.
for everyone. I'm optimistic that our work in all of these areas will help accelerate some of the positive emerging trends that we're
Guys, we've
seeing in the
been
world.
together
Now,
a
we're going to
good
share our
hour and a half. And I still believe that there's a rabbit to be pulled out of a hat.
And hi, everyone. I hope you're all safe.
Okay, that's it. Mark is off the line. He didn't talk about crypto. I'm sorry, guys. I am moving to that Apple call.
2 billion, which is a 48% year-over-year increase.
I can't say that I'm too surprised. Um, I always felt that there was a opportunity to maybe speak about it, but I think if it's gonna happen today, it's gonna happen through. It's gonna happen through the CFO.
Of our customers, our installed base of active devices reached a new all-time record in each of our
Okay, so Apple is talking about
our services
the install base of active devices
9 billion
breaking records,
over a year ago. We established new records in each geographic segment
and they're talking about geographic segments that each one of them had different records.
of our services business. Company gross margin was 42.5%,
And the company gross margin was 42% at Apple.
from last quarter, driven by cost savings
Amazing numbers, amazing company. Like,
and favorable foreign
you gotta
exchange.
hand it up. You gotta, tip your hat to Apple and Apple's,
Thanks
management and to Tim Cook. So many people,
thanks to cost
so
savings
many
and
people said that Tim Cook didn't bring innovation and Tim Cook didn't
services gross margin
bring what Steve
expanded
Jobs brought to the table, but that's fine.
170
Guys, Tim Cook is an operator. He's a CEO, he's a COO in heart and he's doing an amazing job.
23.6 billion. Diluted earnings per
Are
share
you happy with the earnings calls, guys? With the earning results? With what Apple and Facebook are talking about? Facebook are talking about commerce and developing tools to help people express themselves.
Let me get into more
Apple is
detail.
talking about just refining everything that they do so well already.
Revenue set a March quarter record of 47.9 billion,
What do you guys think? Is anybody here also heavily invested in one of these stocks? I didn't hear from anybody in the chat. I understood some of you have Bitcoin, but
grew strong double
guys, let me
digits
know. Does anybody here own Apple? Anybody here own
March
Facebook?
quarter record with more
Anybody
than
here like the stocks? If you like
really
any
excited
one of
about
these
the growth of
stocks,
our customer base
hit
and
like
our
button
growing
on the video.
engagement
If
with our
you're
active
if you
installed base.
joined recently, you haven't hit the like button yet,
Based on
this is
a
the time to hit the like
recent
button.
survey of
If
consumers,
we are meeting each other for the first time, guys,
indicates
hit
80%
subscribe.
of
I don't sell any courses.
consumers
I do not show video ads. And I'm all about just
an all-time record
generating for you
of
content.
7.9 billion with all-time
If your voice wouldn't be
record
less loud and less much, we could much better be in for start talking all the time. David,
and payment services.
loving the
Our new
feedback.
service offerings, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade,
You
Apple
know
Watch
what?
Plus, Apple
I'm
Car,
gonna give David
Apple TV
K
Plus,
1 minute of silence.
Apple
I'm just
Watch,
gonna put the volume as high as possible as I can, and hopefully you guys can hear
among
something.
different features, and are contributing to overall services growth. The key drivers for our services business all continue to move in the right direction. First, our installed base growth has accelerated and reached an all-time high across each major product category. Second, the number of both transacting and paid accounts on our digital content stores reached a new all-time high during the March quarter, with paid accounts increasing double digits in each of our geographic segments. Third, paid subscriptions continue to show strong growth. During the March quarter, we added more than 40 million paid subs sequentially, and we have now reached more than 660 million paid subscriptions across the services on our platform. This is up 145 million from just a year ago and twice the number of paid subscriptions we had only 2.5 years ago. Finally, we're adding new services that we think our customers will love, while also continuing to improve the breadth and quality of our current service offerings. For example, Apple Arcade launched its biggest expansion yet, adding incredibly fun games to the catalog, including new exclusive arcade originals, along with two entirely new categories, App Store Greats and Timeless Classics. Apple Pay continues to expand geographically, launching in Mexico and in South Africa, bringing our payment service to 6 continents. Wearables, home, and accessories grew 25% year over year to $7.8 billion, setting new March quarter revenue records in every geographic segment. Apple Watch continues to extend its reach, with nearly 75% of the customers purchasing Apple Watch during the quarter being new to the product. We are very excited about the future of this category and believe that our integration of hard experiences in this category. Next, I'd like to talk about Mac. We set an all-time revenue record of $9.1 billion, up 70% over last year, and grew very strongly in each geographic segment, with all-time revenue records in Europe and rest of Asia Pacific, and March quarter records in the Americas, Greater China, and Japan. This amazing performance was driven by the very enthusiastic customer response to our new Macs powered by the M1 chip. iPad performance was also outstanding, with revenue of $7.8 billion, up 79%. We grew very strongly in every geographic segment, with an all-time record in Japan and a March quarter record in rest of Asia Pacific. Both Mac and iPad are incredibly relevant products for our customers in the current working and learning environments, and we are delighted that the most recent surveys of US consumers from 451 Research measured customer satisfaction at 91% for Mac and 94% for iPad. With this level of customer satisfaction, and with around half of the customers purchasing Mac and iPad during the quarter being new to that product, the active install base for both products continues to grow nicely and reach new all-time highs. In the enterprise market, customers across many industries are accelerating their adoption of iPhone 12 and 5G as a key platform for the future of their business. Delta Airlines, for example, is putting iPhone 12 and 5G connectivity into the hands of flight attendants so they can provide the best passenger service possible as air travel rebounds. OpenReach in the UK has started equipping 10s 12 to speed up their deployment of broadband services to homes around the country. And UC Health, a large healthcare provider in Colorado, was able to reduce per patient vaccination time from 3 minutes to only 30 seconds, largely by moving from PC stations to iPhones. This has allowed their staff to rapidly scan and register new patients and vastly increase their daily vaccination capacity. Let me now turn to our cash position. We ended the quarter with over $204 billion in cash plus marketable securities. We issued $14 billion of new term debt and retired $3.5 billion of term debt, leaving us with total debt of almost $122 billion. As a result, net cash was $83 billion at the end of the quarter. This strong position allows us to continue to invest confidently in our future while also returning value to our shareholders. We are innovating and investing at an unprecedented pace, including accelerating our investment in the United States with our new commitment to contribute more than $430 billion and 20,000 jobs to the country over the next 5 years. As we continue to execute at an extremely high level, we were also able to return nearly $23 billion to shareholders during the March quarter. This included $3.4 billion in dividends and equivalents and $19 billion through open market repurchases of 147 million Apple shares. We continue to believe there is great value in our stock and maintain our target of reaching a net cash neutral position over time. Given the confidence we have in our business today and into the future, our board has authorized an additional $90 billion for share repurchases. We're also raising our dividend by 7% to 22 cents per share, and we continue to plan for annual increases in the dividend going forward. As we move ahead into the June quarter, I'd like to review our outlook, which includes the types of forward-looking information that Tejas referred to at the beginning of the call. Given the continued uncertainty around the world in the near term, we are not providing revenue guidance, but we are sharing some directional insights, assuming that the COVID-related impacts to our business do not worsen from what we are seeing today for the current quarter. We expect our June quarter revenue to grow strong double digits year over year. However, we believe that the sequential revenue decline from the March quarter to the June quarter will be greater than in prior years for two reasons. First, keep in mind that due to the later launch timing and strong demand, iPhone only achieved supply-demand balance during the March quarter. This will cause a steeper sequential decline than usual. Second, we believe supply constraints will have a revenue impact of $3 to $4 billion in the June quarter. We expect gross margin to be between 41.5% and 42.5%.
Okay, guys, so here's the deal. Apple is talking about the supply chain disaster that is happening worldwide. And that supply chain disaster is currently causing Apple to lose $3 billion in potential iPhone sales in the next quarter. So if you guys don't know, there have been multiple supply and demand mismatches all around the world when it comes to refrigerators, ovens, iPhones, and iPads. And right now, Apple is saying that they're going to lose billions of dollars in revenue just because of the supply chain issues. There is not going to be enough supply of Apple products to match the demand. And if I had to buy anything related to Apple, I would go out and buy it now. Or I would make an order now, even if I think that I'm going to need that thing maybe just in a month or two, because there is going to be a shortage of Apple products with a specific emphasis on a product like the iPhone. So let me know what you think, guys. Do you think that um, we're going to see the supply chain problem solve itself? Or what's going to happen? I'm I'm pretty sure that we're gonna see this supply chain problem continue all the way into 2022. I think these are one of these issues that will take the world time to figure out. Now, having that ship stuck in that Egyptian canal um, did not help the situation when you had so many other ships, just like 12% of the world's trade being stuck. These are the kinds of things that cause a chain reaction. And look, let's go over the list. We have an issue with chips. There's not enough chips. Car companies are looking for chips. Computer companies are looking for chips. Everybody's looking for chips. So that's a huge issue. And then you have labor issues in countries where you're manufacturing, and you might have situations where that the factories cannot run online either for health issues or anything like that. And there's a lot of demand for rare earth materials and metals, and I feel that there's almost an inflation in every kind of asset. And then you have a lot of people who want to upgrade their phones. People are going to go out again. People are going to go gangbusters this summer and spend. And they want to take snapshots and memories. And one of the ways to do that is by buying a new iPhone with new lenses. And I know the people who are the kind of people who sleep outside the store, or are trying to get the iPhone the day it comes out. And let me tell you something. They walk around other people who haven't got it out yet, and they just convince them by showing how much they love using it. So Apple announced that on the call that they're going to miss a lot of income in the next quarter because of supply chain. Moving back to the news tickers to see if anything interesting has happened. I'm going to move back to the Facebook earnings call to see if maybe we can catch the CFO. Maybe we'll get a cryptocurrency mention. Maybe we'll get a Bitcoin mention. I don't know if we're going to get a cryptocurrency or Bitcoin mention on the Facebook earnings call. There's only one way to find out, and that is jumping back to that earnings call, hitting play.
Easier to sell on our platform. Now, the shopping experience is really well defined in other places, and we are.
So I don't know who's talking, but they're talking about the shopping experience.
Know we have a lot of work to do. We're working with partners to build some of the parts of the experience that we're not as expert in, and we're
These earnings calls take time, by the way. We haven't hit yet the analyst question segments. So if you've never been on one of these earnings calls, here's how it goes. The companies say what they have to say. They go over the reports. They talk about guidance. They talk about their balance sheet, like you guys are waiting. Maybe they're going to talk about adding crypto to their balance sheet. But after the company says everything it has to say, then comes the next stage. And on the next stage, analysts ask the company questions. What questions do they ask? Well, Glad you asked. Analysts are trying to understand, are there any kind of hidden headwinds that the analysts think that are there and the company doesn't, or if the company said something and the analysts think it will affect the bottom line and the company didn't say how it might affect the bottom line. So here's the thing. We're half an hour in. If something didn't come out until now that is rocking our world in terms of the news, we have maybe a few more minutes before that happen, either doesn't happen or happen. But half an hour into the earnings call is already kind of at a point where I don't think we can expect some huge catalyst. So for whoever's still on this live stream, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the time to subscribe, people. This is the time for us to create a relationship where I publish videos, you get a notification because you hit that bell, and you get informed and you get added value and you get cool content. And if you didn't hit like button on the like button on this video yet, this is the time to hit that like button as well. So subscribe, hit like. And I think that since there's not much news coming down the pipe, and I see Apple stock going down, and I see Facebook stock responding very different than Apple, just staying very steady. I think we kind of know the situation. Apple has supply chain issues. They won't be able to meet demand. Revenue will suffer. Facebook is hitting on all cylinders. There is currently no Bitcoin in sight. But that's probably it. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have any kind of feedback on this live stream, guys, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to improve the content. I'd love to improve the experience. Again, if you're still on the line and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe. And I guess I'll see you guys next time, because I think we're pretty much informed. We pretty much know what happened. And I'm probably going to be buying Facebook stock tomorrow, just as I intend of making a move. I don't know if I'm buying one share tomorrow, but I feel very confident in continuing to follow in that company. I like the stock. It's not financial advice, not recommending you to buy. I like the stock. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.